This video is an introduction to Infinite Extent. This is a Windows desktop software application for the analysis of aquifer pumping test data pumped at a constant rate, and there's also a method for recovery data. From the File menu, I can go down here and choose from a variety of example data sets. This view displays my data. From the Options menu, I can select units for my aquifer dimensions, my pumping discharge rate, for my transmissivity and hydraulic conductivity calculations. Back to the File menu, I can select Import to import data from a data logger file. I can specify my units and which columns in the file contain data for each of the observation wells. Infinite Extent supports up to 5 observation wells, and one of the observation wells can be the pumping well. From the Edit menu, I can enter my data manually. I can enter site information. This is data that will appear on the graphs and reports. I can enter my aquifer parameters, such as the pumping rate, aquifer thickness, and the distance to the observation wells. And I can enter my time and water level measurements in this spreadsheet style interface. Of course, it is much easier to import your data from a data logger file, but if you don't have that available, you can enter the data manually here. Also, I can adjust my data. I can add constant values to the time and the drawdown, or I can multiply them by a value. This is useful if you need to make any adjustments to your data due to measurement errors. The View menu is where I choose all of my graphs and analysis methods. There are a variety of graphs in the program: arithmetic, semi-log, and log-log. I can select type curve analysis methods, such as the TICE. To analyze my data, I just click and drag the data over the type curve, and the calculations will be updated automatically with the new values. There are also some automatic analysis methods. These perform the calculations automatically without type curve matching. From the Options menu, I can access program options. Eliminate duplicates will eliminate duplicate values in your water level measurements. Eliminate alternates will eliminate every other value in your water level measurements. This is useful if you want to reduce your data set size. I can specify units, some customization of the program. Language allows me to change the text that appears on the graphs if I wish to do that. I can also specify options, symbols, fonts, colors, and axes for the graphs. The Calculators menu has a number of aquifer test related calculators that you might find useful. For example, I can calculate the well yield based on my calculated transmissivity and storativity values. I can calculate steady state drawdown based on my aquifer parameters. And I can calculate the well specific capacity. It's also worth discussing how to do an aquifer test analysis with multiple observation wells. From the File menu, I can select an example with multiple wells. Here are my 3 observation wells and their data. From the View menu, I can select the distance drawdown method. For each of the measurement times, this draws a straight line best fit for the 3 observation wells. Calculations are displayed in a box which you can drag and drop and move. You can right-click to set colors and fonts for the box. Here I have buttons that will indicate which trial measurement I'm going to use to create the graph. I can click through the different buttons to navigate through my measurements that I have taken from the wells. From the View menu, there is also a fully automatic distance drawdown method. This calculates the mean transmissivity and storativity based on all of the different trial measurements. That concludes this quick overview of infinite extent. Look for other videos for details on specific topics.